you guys, but I think we've upgraded, don't you?
100%.
From that original panel,
100%.
I think we've definitely upgraded. So if you don't know, Marcus is the assistant trainer for Jamie Osborne. So Jamie's stuck on a plane somewhere, is he? So we have the younger, better-looking, more talented version being Marcus. Like Ed said, Jason Weaver has a very good excuse for not being here because his son is playing in the US Open, which is massive. So we all wish him lots of luck there. Vanessa is off Sky Sports Racing. You might recognise her face. Yes, lots of nodding people. And also the co-star of the hottest new podcast out there called Running Loose. If you haven't listened to it, you must listen to it. That goes for you, Oisin, and Marcus. I know you haven't listened to it yet. And I don't think Oisin Murphy needs any introduction, one of the best jockeys riding at the moment. And thanks for joining us. He actually knows what's going on at Windsor tonight because he is riding. And I hadn't quite got to the bottom of our running order, realising that not only were we previewing Royal Ascot, we're also giving you some tips for Windsor tonight. So Oisin is going to be your man on that. Right, I think we might just see if we can get everybody settled and sat down. George, would you like to come in and take your place ahead of our preview once you finish your fast? That would be great. So we are going to discuss the Royal Ascot races where we know the fields so far. And I'm not sure if you're going to Ascot or if you're watching on TV, but the Tuesday is always a brilliant day. It always starts with a real bang. And this year, almost more so than ever, because we have got some brilliant fields assembled for the Queen Anne and also for the St James's Palace later in the day. But this is an absolute humdinger because we've got Rosalien, we've got Dancing Gemini, who just was touched off by lead artist in the Lockinge. We've got Notable Speech, last year's Guineas winner. And these horses are all coming back together, and we're going to find out a lot more about them here. Oisin, I imagine you were a bit disappointed with the news of Colin Keane being appointed jockey to the Juddmonte operation because you rode lead artist to win at Newbury, but you won't be on him next week.
No.
Does he need a microphone?
Colin Keane has been announced as the retained rider for Juddmonte Farms in Europe as of today, such. So he'll be coming in for all these good horses. I think lead artist is very solid. I think he probably deserves to be a 5 to 6 to 1 shot. Rosalien ran a very good race at Newbury, but he had been away for racecourse gallops and he was quite fit. Notable Speech maybe slightly disappointed. Sardinian Warrior, it's interesting dropping back to a mile. Be honest, guys, I don't see an obvious front runner in this race, so maybe lead artist could end up in front. It's hard to make all at Ascot unless you get it easy. So I fancy one of the 3-year-olds from last year, the top two in the betting, Notable Speech or Rosalien, to run him down. And if you ask me what I'd like to ride in the race, it'd probably be Notable Speech. I just think he's going to be suited by meeting the ground at Ascot, and I hope he'll have come forward from his first run this year. And I thought he was a star last year.
I've got to say, you rode lead artist beautifully at Newbury because you just got it right every step of the way, and you produced him to win just, a neck in front of Dancing Gemini, who was pretty close on your tail that day. But Notable Speech, Vanessa, had to make up a lot of ground during that race.
Yeah, I'm only cheering so much.
By the way, you have got a microphone here and that one.
I like to.
Okay. Oh, yeah, clearly. Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, I just think that when you watch back the Newbury run, and obviously it's going to be a rematch of that again, I just feel like he had to do so much running, and he came through with such a solid, he was so strong on the ride that he was travelling really well, and then he just didn't finish out his race. And given what the team had said beforehand in regards to the sort of end target with him, not end target, but big highlight of the year being this race, I just figured that I think he's going to step forward the most, essentially. And so he's not in my selection in this, but I'll give it away already. He's my best bet of the week.
Best bet of the week?
Yeah.
Okay. She's gone in the first race.
So enthusiastic. Yeah.
Okay, good. Marcus, have you got an opinion on this race?
I think there's a fly in the ointment.
Ooh, we like that. A big price fly in the ointment, maybe. Okay, who is it? Oh, we'd have to go to the next page. I don't know if we have a next page.
He looked like a bit of a weapon at Keeneland. And he's obviously been bought by Keeneland. I don't think they'd be coming to Ascot just for a jolly.
He's about a 20 to 1 shot, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so. But I think Rattling
Carl Spackler.
Can't miss him. Big white face. Running the U-long service, I think.
So he's come from America to Australia and then...
No, he's come...
He's not come...
Just been bought in America.
Okay.
He came in Keeneland a month ago. He's coming to Ascot on his way down to Australia.
Okay. And you spent a bit of time in Australia, didn't you? So is there a bit of an Australian
I just
lean
think
here?
There's a bit of a plan brewing here, I think.
Okay, that's a big shout, considering he's taking on...
The reason he's going to ask it is because they're paying for the first half of the trip to Australia.
Oisin gives it no chance. I love the delivery of that. Either way, this is a cracking race. Is Sardinia Warrior a big price at 10 to 1?
Yeah, but he needs to step up a bit to be good enough to beat it.
Okay, so just to go along the line, we know notable speech for Vanessa, for Oisin, same notable speech, and a big
But we can pick up some more money.
outsider in the shape of Carl Spackler for you. Okay, I think we have to have a look at the King Charles III Stakes. So this used to be known as the King's Stand. It's the 5 furlong Group 1 sprint on the Tuesday. And we've got Believing as the favourite, last start Group 1 winner in Dubai. Asphora won the race last year. And then I can't help thinking it gets potentially a little bit weaker. Now, bear in mind that some of these horses might be going for the Jubilee on the Saturday, so some of them might seem a bigger price because their target is not necessarily decided yet. Marcus, how do you sum up this race? Vanessa and I just did our podcast, and we weren't sure if it's a bit of a weak division.
Yeah, I think it's open. Is the way to describe it.
Put politely.
Oisin will be keen on the Australian horse. I think the one that stands out to me at 20s is West Over each way. He's had a long campaign in Dubai, and he's a proper 5 furlong horse. Got beaten over extended fight at Maydown, and that's the 8th there. But he's a horse with a lot of speed. He'll get a lot of weight off the older horses, and it's the only race for him. It's not going to. I doubt they're going to step him up to 6 furlongs to the Commonwealth. He's been freshened up, I'd imagine, and comes here, I'd say, with a nice each way chance.
I'm noticing a trend. Do you like the kind of finding a bit of value in the outsiders? Vanessa, how do you see this playing out?
Well, it's the rematch, isn't it, with the Believing and Ascot regional and further down the swing price horses as well. There's obvious credentials for the top few in the market there, given what they did in this race last year, etc. And Ascot is, and it's quite the same form coming in here. I'd be sceptical about that. I thought a much bigger price, American Affair, as a horse that is coming up to kind of handicap ranks, got beaten at Haydock behind Madeira when sent off favourite when we last saw him. I just think the Jim Goldie, it's a bit of a left field shout, but he's literally like 33 to 1. I think he'll definitely go to this race, and I expect him to run a better race than a 33 to 1 shot anyway. And he doesn't have a sort of sexy profile, but especially off the back of the defeat, I just think his price is too good.
Oisin, you did ride Asphora to victory there last year, didn't you?
Yeah, I
Is she-
rode Asura this morning, and
Ah.
she felt really well. Ngira was my other choice, and it's kind of hard to split them. She won her 2 starts this year in France and at Haydock the last day. I think Marcus has a point with Westacre, but 3-year-olds have a terrible record in the race. It's almost impossible for them to win. Night Raider, I rode last time. He's a front runner. He's the obvious speed in the race, and if he keeps going, he might be hard to catch. But this is a very weak race compared to the Jubilee, the 6 furlong Group 1. You'll notice like these horses to win probably will run 7 pounds less than the ones in the 6 furlong race. So without boring you too much, because we've only gone through 2 races in 10 minutes.
Yeah, I know, we need to speed up a bit. We do, don't we? Oh gosh, the horse is waiting.
I think Believing will be a tough nut to crack if she's in the same shape as she was in Dubai.
Now, this was a last-minute directive from me to Daisy, so I've confused things a little bit, because on the screen we've moved on to the Wednesday. That's the Tuesday, but there's a lot of big races on the Tuesday, and I don't want to go past the St James's Palace without mentioning it, because we haven't got it on the screen. I know, Oisin's in a rush. No, come on, the St James's Palace, brilliant race, coming together of all these different form lines. We haven't got the graphic up, so Vanessa, remind us who's running.
Well, we've got Field of Gold up at the top of the market, and taking on, well, obviously Field of Gold is our Irish Guineas winner, taking English Guineas winner and the French Guineas winner.
We think Ruling Court will definitely go there, do we?
Yeah, I think
Yeah?
so. So we've got Ruling Court and Henri Matisse, so it's the 3 Guineas winners all clashing again. I'm nervous about having a strong selection in this, but Field of Gold, what he did in Ireland,
Oh, come on, you've always loved Field of Gold. Come on. Vanessa's Field of Gold.
I am Field of Gold. It's just a short price, it's a bit unoriginal, that's all.
Sheen?
No, I think Field of Gold was really good in Ireland, and I think it's a 2-horse race, Ruling Court and Field of Gold, and the reason I'm pleased Francesca's actually mentioned the race is because it'll be one of those exciting ones, whichever jockey gets it tactically right, they may have the winning edge. It could come down to something really small, like who sits in front or which one sits behind.
Is that what happened at Newmarket? Did the jockey win the race, get the tactics right? William Buick on Ruling Court?
I actually sat in the waiting room in the race, so I can't say, but
Oh, come on.
but the St James's Palace is really good. I don't think Henry Matisse achieved enough to put it up against the two we just mentioned.
Marcus, who wins?
Yeah, I just think Ruling Court wins.
Ruling Court. Oh, bloody hell. Difference of opinion here. Okay, seeing as we are up against it time-wise, let's move on to the Wednesday and have a look at the Prince of Wales's Stakes, Group 1 over the mile and a quarter. And we see the return of economics there, the current 4th favourite. Favourite currently is Los Angeles, and Matt, the winner of the Champion Stakes last year. We've got Map of Stars from France as well. Who should we start with here? Sheen, paint the picture for us.
So Los Angeles has had 2 runs this year. He needs every yard of a mile and a quarter. They'll have a pacemaker in there for him again, so it'll set up nicely. And Matt probably deserves to be favoured because he's 7 years of age. It was his first run off the break last time. He came there to win and got tired. Map of Stars hasn't achieved enough. Economics was a star last year. He's had a long break, but William Haggas mentioned this race back in like February, so he's been targeted at it. He's had loads of time to get it ready. Ombudsman will improve from the start of the last day, but he needs to improve another 5 pounds to mix it with these. White Birch, the ground would be too fast for him at Ascot. And the Cam wouldn't run unless we got rain. Alpan is going to run the week after Ascot. Factor Cheval is going to run, but he's 6 years of age.
Right, we run out of horses. Okay, right. Sheen's previewed the whole race. Who do you fancy?
He's by Winchester, so he wants cut the ground, and Diego Velasquez won't run. Continuous will run as a pacemaker. So listen, if I could run anything in the race, it'd be Anmat.
And Matt for a Sheen. Vanessa, White Birch? I know. He should do our job. I know.
You can pay me £1 million just to do what he's done. I thought White Birch was too big a price, but the point that she makes about the ground would be a concern. But we have a very unsettled weather forecast, so you never quite know. And 10 to 1 to reverse a bit of form with the likes of Amat and Los Angeles. I mean, he deserves. Yeah, he's going to be a bigger price than them. But I just thought he might be a point or two too big.
Marcus, Factor Cheval, 20 to 1?
No.
No?
He'd be 2 to 1 if Aidan O'Brien was by his name.
Okay. Right, so lots of support for Anmat there, the 5 to 1 second favourite. Okay, and we roll on to Thursday, so day 3 of the meeting, and this day is all about one race. It's all about the Ascot Gold Cup. Over the 2.5 miles. It is 2.5 miles, isn't it? 2.5 miles. And Illinois is the favourite, who's going up to the distance for the first time. He's an absolute beast of a horse. I last saw him at Chester. He weighs 580 kilos, a very impressive specimen. The French-trained horse is second favourite. The Gosdens have got Trawlerman, who's pretty solid at this kind of level. Sweet Williams always been a bit thereabouts. Jan Bruegel, will he run, Machine? No. Any others there that won't be featuring?
So, guys, it's a 3-horse race. The first 3 in the betting. Trawlerman is a front runner, so he'll provide pace into the race. Illinois may not stay. Candelari won an okay. They made it a Group 1 recently. It wasn't a great race, but at least he won. I don't think it's a great Ascot Gold Cup.
It's not, is it?
Something has to win, and yeah, I just watch it and appreciate it. And you've got 2.5 miles. It'll take about 7 minutes. You can go for a glass of champagne and a cigarette and come back.
Shane, I was going to chuck you at 40 to 1 on contract.
I would always run.
Oh.
He's just level, isn't he?
He But the thing is, you've got your Coltrane's and your Trushans who have been around for a long time. I feel like this division needs a bit of shaking up. But are we lacking? But Marcus, are we lacking those kind of horses? How many of these kind of horses have you got in your yard?
A couple of ones that get that far, I'd say.
Just not at this level.
Not at this level, but it'd be nice to have one. But I just think the whole industry is kind of geared more towards speed. And, 2 miles, you'd be all right. 2.5 miles, even then you're struggling to stand as a national hunt stallion. So that's kind of where the industry's going. But it's great to have these horses knocking around still. These old boys.
Okay, just...
Down the bottom, the Trushan by Future, both 9-year-olds.
Oh, here we go. He's gone for another one, a big price. Just to confirm, did anyone actually have a strong feeling in this race in terms of a tip? Not strong. Yeah. Okay. Let's go with the favourite. Vanessa, should we just go with the Sheen?
No, she likes the French horse.
I like Candelari.
Okay.
Well, I feel like he brings in a different element to what we've seen.
But didn't Savannah's Night finish second to Candelari last time out and a much bigger price?
Vanessa's had a few good nights in Paris.
Oh, yeah. Yes, we move on. Right, where are we? That's the... Oh, wait, we're on Friday. Okay, so 2 big races to look at on Friday. This is the Commonwealth Cup, so over 6 furlongs for the 3-year-olds. Now, Shadow of Light, you might have noticed, finished 3rd, a very good run in the 2,000 guineas, so he's stepping down in trip. Babouche is over from Ireland, the filly. Who rides what here, Oisin? Do you know? Because...
Yeah, William will ride Shadow of Light. Colin will probably ride Babouche, and I might ride John Kilburn.
That's good.
For me, Shadow of Light will be really hard to beat. He came there and actually hit the front in the Guineas, and it was a slow tempo, and it turned into a bit of a speed test, and he had more speed than the rest of them, albeit they were milers. He was the champion 2-year-old. When I saw him win the Dewhurst, it was a difficult draw for William, and he gave the others like a 4-length head start on the other side of the track, and he still managed to run them down. And he's proved he's trained on because he's ran well in the Guineas, and I think dropping back to a stiff 6 is ideal for him. And for me, he's just achieved way more than any of those in the race.
I'm in agreement once again with Oisin, and we didn't comment on this beforehand, but I just think Shadow of Light's a cut above these, a cut above what any of them have done as well. They all have to step up, and on top of that, like Oisin said, I think dropping back down in trip is going to be a big positive for it. I think he'll probably go shorter than 2-1 on the day as well.
John Quill? No chance?
I have a go for John Quill. I don't want to touch him if it's 2-1 or less.
Yeah, maybe, but John Kill's rate 116 and Shadow of Light is like 120 unofficial rate. Oh yeah, it's up there. I didn't just guess. And what's John Kill? 130. Listen, yeah, I think Shadow of Light is literally the better meeting. If he's healthy, yeah, I can't see. I don't think it'll be a huge field. Like they might all line up, but other than that, I don't think it'll be very big. And provided he gets an okay trip, I think he'll win. And Whistle Jacket will be on speed. Arabian Dust, Big Mojo. There's 3 horses there to give him a toe into the race, and it should be plain sailing.
You're very convincing with your arguments. Are you actually a good tipster, Oisin? Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Are you? You don't know. Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's move on to Coronation Stakes. So for the fillies, but Lake Victoria doesn't go, does she? So cross off Lake Victoria. Zaragana. So wait, Zaragana was ended up being the winner of the French 1,000 guineas because she came a nose second to She's Perfect, and then that got reversed in the stewards' room controversially. She's Perfect won't go here, will she?
She's supposed to run. She's Perfect supposed to run in France on Sunday. It'll be interesting with the news with Lake Victoria now being injured. Will they reroute her? I don't really know, because you pay so much money to get through those confirmation stages, and it's probably another 10 grand or so to confirm for the coronation next Saturday morning. And they probably, having confirmed for France, they probably don't want to fork out more money. Does that make sense? So look, Desert Flower is very unlikely also to back up, having just ran in the Oaks. Zaragana for me there was huge hype about her, but I don't like the way she hasn't put a race to bed. On her last start last year, she got beat by a little Memas thing, ran to a low level in the Group 1 on Arc Day. And this year she's done the same thing. She found a way of not winning. She won it in the Stewards' Room. So it really opens the race up. You go down to exactly bedtime story, Chantilly January, Flight Simmering. I like Flight. I thought she could win the English Guineas. I finished second to Desert Flower. The other day we hacked and sprinted at the Curragh and I couldn't win, so I looked after her. And she's probably still going to be an each way price on the day. She's going to shorten from 25s to 12s or so. But she'd be an each way.
Wait, Marcus, can you explain why when I go on Odds Checker, I've got Zaragana the favourite, Falakaya second favourite. Why is she not there?
Because Falakaya needs to be supplemented.
Oh, okay.
And that's an interesting one. Falakaya won over 10 furlongs at Newmarket at the Guineas meeting, the Pretty Polly Stakes. We have a couple of Pretty Pollies, but the English version. And her finishing speed percentage was 98%, so she clearly didn't stay at mile and a quarter. She went absolutely flat out and she had the field like well beaten by halfway. The form is terrible. None of the ones that have come out are won. But I do think Falakaya is quite good. If she relaxed in this sort of race, she'd be an interesting prospect. But you couldn't back her because she hasn't achieved enough. And she's going to be no value because she's the high horse, 75 kilometers over supplement. She's going to be short and she should.
She's an absolute beauty, though. Did you see her in Newmarket?
She's like you.
She runs a bit faster than me, I'm afraid. I know. No, she's more like Vanessa. She's tall, she's leggy, she's quite headstrong, and she's going to take a little bit of...
She was just about to take the microphone with another like sniper mark. He's smart.
No, but actually, jokes apart, she is headstrong, which is why they've decided not to step her up in distance. Well, actually, to come back in distance, Falakaya, because she jumps and she runs and she's got a massive stride on her, and she is a beauty. So Oisin's put a word of warning about the price about Falakaya, but I do like her. So flight for Oisin. Marcus, have you got a thought?
If bedtime stories back to the forward she showed out.
Right, that's a big if, isn't it?
Yeah, it's big if, but you know, if there's anyone who can do it, it's Aidan O'Brien.
Is exactly a bit of value there? Unlucky in the French Guineas?
Yeah, I mean, but she ends up being favourite. Do you know what I mean?
Who?
She ends up being favourite or second favourite after Desert Flower and
Oh, okay.
come out. So then she's
Well, Falakaya goes in there somewhere. What about this Kontiki, who says it's here, needs to be supplemented? No.
Kontiki won a listed race at York the other day for Jane Chapman, and the form of that hasn't worked out either. Although Troya, owned by Francesca's parents, did win a bad race in France yesterday.
Excuse me?
Have to step up a lot to feature in this sort of race.
But they were really excited about their winner in a listed race in France. Actually, Troya, funny you mentioned Troya, because her sister, Academia, is in training with Ed Walker and is also a all gold filly. Anyone have a share in Academia? Yes, yes, yes. So that was a good boost for the family with her sister Troya winning a really good listed race in France yesterday. Who invited him? 3 minutes. Right, we've got 3 minutes, by the way. We are on Friday, so let's go on to Saturday. This is the other big sprint of the week. It's now called the Queen Elizabeth II Jubilee Stakes. It's had a few different names. Favourite is Lazat from France. Inisherin. I'm surprised Inisherin's not favourite. Anyone else? Stormboy. I mean, how is Stormboy there? He ran an absolute shocker first time out, but he's trained by Aidan O'Brien. And then the rest. Is the rest a little bit weak, Oisin?
This is
I feel like I'm directing everything to Oisin, and we'll have to let him go soon. Oh, class race.
Really good horses in this. Lazat is an absolute machine. He's very, very keen. He's a gelded son of territories. I think he's a bit of a freak. Inisherin, good horse, won on his reappearance. Stormboy, as Francesca mentioned, is only 7 to 1 because Aidan trains him. Top Gear won a decent Group 3 at Longchamp the other day with Stefan Pasquier. It's over 7 furlongs. Handle Red, very good horse. Kind of blew it out the other day, and then you don't need to mention the others. But those top 5 in the betting would all be good winners of this race. I genuinely feel Lazat, he's just been bought by Waknan, the Emir of Qatar. He'd be the one I really love relaxed in front, I think he'd take a lot of action.
I was a bit less engaged with this race, but Oisin, with that whole being able to sell the sand to an arrow, it just really engaged me a bit more, you know. So I do find that interesting. But the Lazat angle, Lapland paying so much money for the gelding and hoping that he can step forward again on what he's already done, it's just very interesting. I mean, their whole buying policy is interesting, but I'm intrigued to see what he can do here. And I think, like Oisin's just pointed out, he could be a freak in it, just the sort of upward trajectory he's on.
They also have.
Like the store boy.
Would you?
Yeah. I saw him at Gold Coast when he won at Magic Millions, and he was an absolute weapon.
He was a 2-year-old then. Yeah. He's about 5 now.
Cool. If you're bringing up £12 and paying loads of money for a cool horse, spend an absolute fortune on it. If there's anyone who can get a horse, like his run the last time is not it. Like he is so much better than that. He's an absolute bull of a thing. He looked fat in the paddock. If he retains a shred of ability, he'll put these away.
Here we go.
He wants it.
Okay, so that's going to give us.
Getting the Aussie rights.
I'm riding the one I want to ride.
Who are you riding in this? In this? No. Oh, in the 5 paddock race. Who do you ride in this? Any rides?
Your one there down the bottom.
Oh, yeah, she's alright, isn't she? No, not good enough.
She has, listen, she's sorry, Vanessa, she's quite aggressive. Sorry about that. No, in all fairness, Laura Bermuda could run a decent race. She ran really well behind in the show and she wasn't beaten far.
Yeah.
And she's a big price.
Yeah.
I wouldn't overlook her.
Okay. Do we have any other races to preview? I think that's it. That is it. There are lots of other good races for the week. And now I'm slightly regretting my choice because I'm told it's going to be too short and isn't going to win. Vanessa's gone for Notable Speech, which I think Oisin would agree with. Your best bet of the week, Shadow of Light. Marcus? Storm Boy. Wow. Okay. I like that. Looking for a bit of value from you. So that wraps up our Ascot preview. We're all going to go and have a look at the Wicked Wolf, who is our new horse in association with Royal Windsor Racecourse. So he's in training with the Osbornes. And Marcus is going to tell us all about him. Here or out there? Out there. We're going to find out all about him out there. Do you have to bring your microphone? I don't think he needs to bring his microphone. And just quickly, before we go, have we got a second to hear from Oisin about his rides this evening and any tips for the gang here?
Firstly, guys, thank you very much for coming early and listening to us, and I hope to God we found you a winner too. I'm busy this evening. I think I ride potentially a very nice horse called Narain for John and Daly Gulston. He won on debut on the old weather. This is turf. He's low price, but I hope he's a horse to watch and admire. And I ride a very well-bred 2-year-old in the first race for Judgmont and Andrew Bolden, a Frankel out of Classical Times. She may need the experience, and I actually think Richard Hughes' filly in that race. I wrote her work before her debut. She was then placed at Needock on debut. I think she is a little bit of value and probably where your fiver should be going. She's maybe 3 to 1. She's called Bella Lyre. All right, have a wonderful evening, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. No.
Last moment to wrap up. Thank you very much, Oisin, for stepping in at the last moment